Hello, I'm Feldrin and this is Dungeon Siege 3. The votes are in and we've decided to destroy the heart of Nagog, so let's go and do that.
And if we destroy the heart, she thinks we'll set her free.
Alice asked us to destroy this thing. I'm going to smash it.
Are you sure that's a good idea? I sympathize with the dead girl, but we don't know what else might happen.
That is actually the game giving us a little hint that there might be consequences to destroying the heart right now. There is a tiny secondary choice where we can choose to destroy the heart before the boss fight or after the boss fight. If we destroy the heart before the boss fight, the boss is going to get a little bit stronger. But because nobody mentioned anything about that, and because I actually prefer to destroy it beforehand, I'm going to do it right now.
I'm finally free to return to the River of Souls.
If we were to destroy the heart after the boss fight, then we wouldn't actually get the correct commentary from Leona, and she would have assumed that we were actually trying to keep the heart intact. So that's why I really prefer to do it like this.
The blood of the Legion returns. Come to avenge my treachery, have you?
The treachery he's talking about is the fact that he had cooped himself up in his manor to, well, try and save his family, his daughter, to no real avail. But in the meantime, the 10th Legion was fighting Jane, and he were getting slaughtered outside. So yes, you can see how that can be assumed to be treacherous, but let's just inform him about Alice.
Your daughter is free, and the heart of Nagog has been destroyed. You have no reason to linger here.
Is retribution not reason enough? You took my daughter from me. After all I endured to keep her safe. But know this. The heart of Nagog was alive in its way, and its spirit was aligned with mine. Now its magic is passed to me, and I will strike you down for your sin.
Alright, so this boss fight is actually not all that complicated. It's a melee fight, and he can charge, he does an AoE once in a while, that's the charge, which is fairly damaging. Huh, actually it's damaging enough for Lucas to get downed. I did not see that coming. Actually, I've never had Lucas get killed in this fight before. That AoE is completely useless if you're not going to stand in it. Let me just heal up a little bit. No, I want to press an entirely different button. I haven't been playing for a few days, so I need to acquaint myself with everything again. That's a lovely amount of criticals. Alright. So this is mostly a slightly boring fight, to be honest, because it's a lot of dodging. I did, however, find out during this fight that you can loot stuff while you are in combat. Like this. You can probably also equip it right now, but nah, let's not interrupt the flow. Oh, we filled the mastery bar for an ability. I don't think we can actually use this right now, no. I'm not sure why. I've had this happen multiple times, that after we've filled the mastery bar for an ability and are capable of using it for the first time, I actually can't activate it. But we'll see it later on. So, since this is pretty much all I'm going to... Oh, there's another one of his stages. That's actually his only other stage. He can summon skeletons. Sometimes he actually doesn't summon any skeletons at all. I'm not sure why or when he does it. Anyway, this is not incredibly interesting to watch, so I'm just going to skip this part. Alright, we've almost got him down. Let's just throw a few spears and then it shouldn't last that long.
Shall find no rest.
Unless I've misjudged that last bit of health. Come on, let me get some shots in. He has a tiny waiting period before he does that attack, so you can anticipate it. It's a bit difficult. And that was Lord Gundrick. We actually got a signet ring from him, which is going to be useful later on in another quest. Alright, that clears up the manor. Let's continue to the other main hall and let's talk to Leona.
My, but you do continue to impress me. First my sister witches, and now Lord Gundrick, dealt with as handily as unruly children. Of course, you did recklessly destroy the heart of Nagog. That was singularly foolish, my dear. I would have expected better from you. I do wish I could entertain you properly, but I have so much to do here, so I must, sadly, ask you to leave my manor.
Just like that? You promised me something that would help defeat Rajani.
So I did, my dear, and you shall have it. I believe you've more than earned this. Now then, as to my manor...
So we've voted to give it the manor over to Leona, so let's go and do that.
Certainly. This place is too gloomy for the Legion.
Does that mean you won't be coming back to visit me? No, that is disappointing. No, I really must ask you to leave me to my work. If you wish, I can transport you outside the manor's grounds to speed you on your way.
Yes, I think I've looted everything and we've gotten all the lore here, so yes, we are done here.
Very well. Send me outside.
But of course, my dear. The Dark Sister protect you on your journey.
Usually at this point the game would just simply continue and we would go on with the main quest series. Oh, by the way, we've gained a bunch of deeds. Let's quickly check out those. The other one that we gained was Full-Time Hero for completing 10 side quests, and then there is Liscansia Ally, which gives us 3 will, and we got it because we ceded control of Gundrick Manor to Leona. Alright, I was talking about something else. Right now the game would just simply continue, but that would mean that we get to see the consequence of our actions only at the very end of the game, and I think that's a terribly boring thing to do. It's a bit like telling 10 jokes to you and just keeping the punchlines to all jokes till the very end. So I'm actually going to show you the consequence of giving Gundrick's... Holy shit, I need to pay a bit of attention to the combat though. I'm going to show you the consequence of giving Gundrick Manor over to Leona right now, instead of at the very end of the game.
In his last letter to me, Lazar added one other piece of news. Gundrick Manor has a new mistress, a witch called Leona. The manor has become a gathering place for scores of Lescanzi witches, many of whom are apparently quite beautiful. Lazar reports that the young men of Raven's Rill have also begun frequenting the manor, much to the irritation of their mothers and wives. Since the local men will not hear any talk of banishing the witches, it appears that Leona and her people have found a new home, which was perhaps what she intended from the start.
Alright, so it turns out that Leona's plan for the mansion was to actually turn it into somewhat of a brothel. And while you were watching the cutscene, I was off making my way into the next area, or at least trying to, and going level up in the process. So let's see what... Well, let me first just get rid of all these frickin' spiders. And then let's see what the level up brings. If I can get there before we get into another fight, come on. Alright, no new abilities. Yeah, well, then let's finish off the hurled spear attack. And another point into that. More chance to stun on criticals. And what were we going for here? Wind shear. And more damage from Wield. Alright, now let me make my way to the next area and then I'll see you over there. Because this is just fighting spiders right now, you know. Alright, and here we are. The entrance to the Mournweald.
Well, doesn't look as though the forest wants any visitors. I wonder how we reason with... Right, that was convenient. In a disturbing sort of way.
The Mourneweald is a small area, but I actually love everything about it. The atmosphere, the feeling, the slight tidbits of lore that we get before and after it.
This forest is supposed to have been magnificent before the Legion fell.
And it really expresses the name Mourneweald very well. I actually went on a little etymology tangent when Odo... Oh, we also get to meet new enemies.
Look out!
They leave those patches of crap behind that are AoE damaging areas. Let me get one of these things off. Yes, wonderful. The spear attack is going to work wonders against these guys. So, I was starting to talk about etymology. Odo already mentioned that mourn from mourning turned to mourn from, well, to mourn, to bemourn something, to remember sorrowfully. I think that's a very nice explanation of the word. But what he didn't explain that is that Wield is also actually an ancient word. Well, ancient, come on, it's just Old English, or... Yes, it's Old English for forest. And nowadays the word Wield is still present in other languages. For example, in Dutch we have Woud, and in German you have Wald. And both are words which in English would refer to a forest. I'm not entirely sure what that has to do with anything we're seeing right now, but that's the stuff I studied, so sometimes I might go off on tangents like that. But I really just like... I know, I love everything about this little area. Especially the music. It's a sorrowful forest. We will also be routinely looting the bodies of the dead. There are a lot of those and they often provide... Yes, alright. They often provide quite good loot, especially later on. And this spear attack is quite possibly the only thing that allows us to get through this area.
Devils have it in for us.
Where are you going? Come back. I believe well, is he dead? No, come on, die already. I believe I saw a bit of loot over there. Yes. Oh, it's not loot. This looks to be the bodies of hunters from the Rill. They seem to have wandered into the Mournweald by accident. What brought them to this gruesome fate, you cannot say. And Lucas seems to have killed the enemies already. Good boy. Well, that is certainly working nicely. I might want to try and use some other attacks as well to get them... Oh yes, I totally forgot about that. We've mastered the spear attack. I was going to say to try and get the other attacks up to mastery as well. But I haven't even shown you the mastery of the spear attack yet. Let's first just go and loot all this. This is the corpse of a long-dead legionnaire, pierced by many arrows. He was probably killed 30 years ago when the last of the legion retreated into the Mournweald to make their final stand. And more looting of bodies. Later on, we're also going to rob graves. Ah yes, the empowered version, which is shift and then, come on. Ah, that did not work out as well as I had hoped. The empowered version is the same attack of the spear, but more damaging, and more importantly, it turns the spear attack into a homing missile that bounces from enemy to enemy. It works very nicely against enemies that are more spread out. These really cluster a lot. I thought that really was some loot.
This is it, the tree. This is where they died. There, look. That's my father, I think. He's been lying out here all these years. Didn't think it would bother me, seeing him like this.
Well, sorry Lucas, but we are going to have to disgrace the dead, because they carry very good loot. Not all of them though, but there is one spot, not over here apparently, but there is one spot, let's see whether I can find and remember it correctly, that usually has, yes, the Ancient Legionnaire's shield, which is a terribly good weapon for a terribly good shield for Lucas. Actually, let's just equip that right now. There aren't a lot of shields so far, and something with 7 block more and... no, 18 block and 7 more armor? Yeah, that's nice. The bones of Hugh Montbaron lie here at the base of the great tree, where he was slain by Jane Cassinda. The Montbaron signet ring is still on his finger.
Can't be right.
Be careful. You're in danger here. And not only from the creatures of the forest. What's your name? Have we met before? I'm a friend. We've never met, but I've known the Legion for a long time. Many wander here in visions and dreams. You are the first to walk this ground awake. The first in many years. Tell me, quickly, what brings you to this place?
Well, all three are valid answers, to be honest. But what actually brings us to this place is the ring. Odo sent us, yes, and the rebellion is the larger thing, but we came here for the ring.
We were looking for the Grandmaster's ring, to open the Legion causeways. That ring is important, but it isn't what Odo thinks. It won't open a causeway. Building the causeways was an act of creation. That is the most ancient power of all, passed down to us from the gods of old. Opening a causeway, that is an act of creation too. I can give you that power, but you must promise never to come here again. Can you tell me why, at least? At the heart of this forest is a seed. One that's been dormant for many long years. It has great power and potential. But not for good. Not anymore. It is very, very old. Older than the rest of the valley. Older than the mountains or the sky. The whole forest is waiting. You've got to leave. Can we leave by the same path? You will never find your way. Not now. The Mournweald will trap you here, unless I intervene. I'll send you back to the edge of the forest. Remember what you saw here. Hold it in your mind, or it will slip away like a dream. The causeways are yours. Use them to rebuild your kingdom and make your country whole. I ask only this. Let no one set foot in this forest. Neither enemies nor friends. I'll guard this place. For as long as I can.
Well, doesn't look as though the forest wants any visitors.
What are you talking about? We just came from the forest. Don't you remember?
Right, very funny. You have an odd sense of humor, you know.
Well, let's head back and see what Odo has to say about all of this. Oh, actually, on the way back through the forest, we gained a level, which means that I can now finally pick another ability, and I'm going to pick the Summon Jackal, which is going to be a nice addition to our little party. And let's see, we finished up Hurl's Spear. I think Summon Jackal doesn't really need to be improved. He certainly doesn't need a bonus in hit points because he bloody damn well never dies, and dealing more damage, it's not that great. But what is nice to have is a better heal. This thing, pumped up fully, only heals us 10%, 5 times 2%, but it's very nice to have an instant heal rather than to have to wait for the damn thing to tick up and heal you properly. Well, we were doing this thing, so let's just continue with that. Ah yes, and Lucas also gets to pick a new ability. As I already said, I didn't really like this one the time I played Lucas myself, but no, let's just go with Shield Wall. He is our tank and I want him to survive stuff. Believe we almost finished off Wind Share. That is now an 80% chance. That's actually pretty nice. So let's start working on Blade Dash and Hammerage to actually make the synergy between those things work. And as I was saying earlier, we actually have the Spear Attack mastered. So let me get some of that and let me try it. Oh, that really didn't... Every time I try to show it off, it fails horribly in what it is supposed to do. I'm a bit sad about that. Let me go and try and find another opportunity for it. I believe the problem with the Empowered Hurl Spare ability is that it counts on... Oh, that worked nicely. It counts on having terrain that is more or less even, and when the spear hits the ground, it usually gets into trouble. But as you saw there, the spear bounced between multiple enemies until it disappeared into the woods, but it did a lot of damage and it killed a few guys. So that's it. You'll be going to see that a lot more often. Alright, let me get back to Odo, while I also kill all of these. Finally, gods, that was a lot of walking. The game could do without a bit of the walking, really. Let's talk to Odo.
That's your nice blood. You look different somehow. Changed.
You found the tree, didn't you? And something more. What did you see in that forest?
How do you know about the tree? You weren't there when the Legion fell.
Saw it in a dream. A lot of us have seen it. Even the young, the sons and daughters of Legionnaires, who were barely born when the Legion died.
At the foot of the tree, I spoke to a boy.
Golden hair, piercing eyes, kind voice, but far too old for his age. Stories of that boy go back to the first conclave, and that's not 1,000 years, maybe more. The Radiant Youth, they called him.
He gave me the power to open the causeways. In return, he doesn't want anyone to set foot in the Mournweald ever again.
No one at all? But why not? What does he fear?
So you've met the child before? And Martin, you've met him too?
No, not me. I've only heard stories.
No one's seen him in a long time. Not since the old Legion fell. We never knew why he left us.
The boy didn't tell me his name.
No, he never does. And he takes different forms. He doesn't look the same to everyone. The boy, that's an auspicious form. Speaks of new beginnings, rebirth. Same form that the first Legionnaires saw back in the days of the Founding. Most Legionnaires see the warrior, but I saw the boy too. Wondered what it meant back then.
You think the child fears something? Or someone?
He's not afraid for his own sake. That child is more than he appears. He could be trying to keep us safe. Still, why forbid anyone from entering the forest?
If I can open the causeway, we shouldn't wait any longer. Let's take back the town.
She's right, Odo. We can think on the boy's words later. Now's the time to strike.
When you reach the other side, you'll find yourself in a crypt, I think. Should be in the town graveyard. Head west, straight for the main square. Rajani is probably holed up inside the town hall. Take her alive if you can.
Is Martin well enough to fight?
I've already told Martin. He's still in no condition for a pitched battle.
No, but we can't leave the villagers to fend for themselves. I'll do what I can to protect them, try to get them to safety. Maybe distract some of the other Leskanzi too, the ones outside the town.
Any idea how many Leskanzi are inside the walls?
Half their forces, maybe. But they won't be ready for you, not at first. They'll be scattered, confused.
The causeway. When I'm inside, what can I expect?
In my day, they were safe. But no one's walked those roads in years. Try not to look down. That's the best advice I can give. Eyes ahead and keep moving no matter what you see.
Anything else I should know?
The Boyar. Lazar Basili. They're probably holding him in the town hall. Once you've dealt with Rajani, don't forget to set him free.
Remember, we're the Legion. We will overcome.
Alright, that clears it up nicely for this episode, I believe. Next time we will be assaulting the town of Ravensrill, the upper part. We've only visited the lower part. Alright, that's it for now. Have a good evening and I'll see you next time.